Welcome to Expert Insights, your window to industry trends and inside look from the decision makers shaping them. Today, we are featuring Russ, founder of Tech London Advocates and Global Tech Advocates, to get his take on the untapped potential of remote work and tech for business growth.
But I think as we've gone through the pandemic, I think we've seen many of these businesses shift their focus and emphasis, become more innovative, think about solutions in a post-pandemic world. And if they've made it through successfully, I think they're really well positioned to grow and thrive, especially as we see more demand come back into the marketplace. Interestingly for me, there's a global semiconductor chip shortage going on at the moment, which indicates that demand for smartphones, gadgets, gaming consoles, etc., is rapidly rising. That means opportunity for many of these businesses in the tech sector, and let's hope that we can solve the chip problem and ensure that we accelerate growth. I think the other thing that we see is many businesses who have not gone through a digital transformation process were forced to do so. And I think ultimately that will strengthen them as a business. And those businesses that were on a legacy infrastructure had some real issues and challenges with that, versus businesses that had adopted the cloud and were in a startup mentality transitioned much more smoothly. I am a firm believer that tech hubs that interconnect with other tech hubs in different parts of the world become stronger, more vibrant. They get more investment into them. And I think that's going to be a key part of the solution. And then I think the other aspect of these international tech hubs connecting is we can all speak to our governments around the types of policies and regulations that are really important for our tech ecosystems. You know, I regularly speak to the UK government about the immigration and visa policies that we have. Now that the UK has left the European Union and we've lost freedom of movement, those policies are absolutely vital. And they've been very innovative in terms of creating a global talent visa or a visa to attract fintech talent. But we're not just doing that in isolation. Other tech hubs around the world are seeing what we're doing, learning from them and saying, hey, we can do that too. I was doing a project recently where I was speaking to CTOs and CIOs of different companies around the world. And they were looking at their budgets for the next few years, and they were having to make a trade-off between investment in their physical space and investment in their IT infrastructure. And I think through that process, there's going to be a lot of innovation. And some of the bigger companies I'm speaking to are saying, look, we want to create more open workspaces. We want to create collaboration zones. We want to bring startups and dynamic businesses into our physical space so we can learn from them and maybe they can learn from us. I think we're going to go through an incredible period of innovation and dynamic growth because of what's happened to every corner of the world. We saw this after the financial crash of 2008, 2009. Part of the London tech ecosystem, why we have one today, goes all the way back to that significant economic disruption. I think we're going to see something far greater now because this has happened on a truly global scale. I think more and more organizations are realizing that the key to this future, to build on these tech trends that we've been talking about, is to have diverse talent in terms of gender, in terms of race and ethnicity, in terms of sexual orientation, in terms of ability or disability, and trying to have open borders wherever possible so talent can move from one country to another. And this is particularly important for me when we look at AI, data, and machine learning, because we have built data sets over the past many years that have inherent biases in them. And as more and more data gets crunched from all kinds of organizations, from the big tech giants in the US and China to others around the world, the biases that sit in that data is going to then get extrapolated into a whole new generation of products and services. That data set really speaks to white men. It doesn't speak to a Black woman or somebody from the transgender community or a person who has a disability. And I think the other thing that we have to add to that is we desperately, desperately need more people who have all kinds of digital skills. The growth in tech employment is off the scale. We're seeing people being displaced from more traditional industries. Through the pandemic, look at the hospitality sector, the retail sector, more traditional sectors. So many people being displaced. Well, they have a home in the digital and technology sector. Some will need reskilling and retraining, but we need that talent to come into this sector. That to me is a key part of our future. I'm also looking beneath the surface and I'm seeing that there's a lot of collaboration going on. And it's an easy word to say, but I think in reality, it's much harder to do because sometimes collaboration might mean that you're not getting a near-term return or getting some monetary reward for what you're doing. It's about paying it forward. But I do think collaboration and a spirit of coming together is what these global tech ecosystems are about. We see some big challenges in the geopolitical landscape. You've got the US, you've got China, you've got the European Union, all striving for some degree of tech sovereignty. My view and my philosophy is there's room for everybody. Digital and tech will transform all societies, hopefully for the better. Let's learn from our mistakes and make sure that we've got good standards, rules, and practices in place.